Well, with the playing of that familiar theme song, we go out to the other coast of the United States of America, where we find Michael Snyder sitting in a darkened motion picture theater reviewing films so you don't have to. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Alex, and hi, listeners. Yeah, I'm suffering and sometimes happy about the situation, but let's get down to it. I should say that I couldn't get to see the new Rebel Wilson meta rom-com, Isn't It Romantic? Or the Happy Death Day, tongue-in-cheek horror sequel, Happy Death Day to You. And those screenings were made available to me in Los Angeles for those films. I surmise Happy Death Day 2 is a similar theme to the Netflix series Russian Doll, with like people dying and coming back. I think that's the premise. And Isn't It Romantic? I think toys with the rom-com conventions. I got to say that the folks at the AMC Century City Theater put the Isn't It Romantic poster right next to the poster for the upcoming Godzilla King of the Monsters film, which actually makes it look like Godzilla is about to fight with a giant Rebel Wilson. And I would see that movie, but didn't see those two. All right. In the realm of dystopian science fiction, special effects laden action movies and that sort of thing, this week we've got Alita Battle Angel. It's based on the Japanese manga series, that's Japanese graphic novels and comics, that's known in English as Battle Angel Alita. They just flip-flop the title. Alita is a junked cyborg who's found by a kindly scientist named Dr. Dyson, really, maybe after those vacuum cleaners, I'm not sure, in bustling, dangerous, and crazy Iron City. He brings this cyborg back to life and names her after his daughter, but she has amnesia, and she also has really big eyes like a character in a Japanese cartoon. Yet those eyes, and in fact the entire character of Alita, is realistically rendered through a remarkable use of motion capture computer animation on the face and body of actress Rosa Salazar, who does a lovely job as Alita. Anyway, Alita is innocent, and she has a desire to learn her origins, and that leads her into trouble. And that means human and cyborg adversaries that dominate this world of the future where the underclass lives and battles in earthbound Iron City. I mean, named after the beer? I don't know. And long to live in the floating sky city of Salem. By the way, the Doctor is played by Christoph Waltz, and he's pretty wonderful, but he has very little to do. And there are villains. While seeking her lost identity, Alita finds herself drawn into battle with these villains who are portrayed at the top of the food chain by Mahershala Ali and Jennifer Connelly. So good actors. And she's also drawn to a young punk who may be a friend or an adversary, and the romance is tepid. And some of the characters are thinly drawn with occasional tired dialogue, no doubt courtesy of co-screenwriter and producer James Cameron. Yep, Mr. Titanic, Mr. Avatar. And damn, it doesn't matter, because the settings and the CGI renderings of the title character are dazzling. And even if a few of the cyborgs seem like they're straight out of a video game, and for that matter, the action sequences get really video gamey, but they're very clear and well staged by director Robert Rodriguez, who's very, very at home with this sort of thing. I mean, these guys know how to make an energetic movie, but apparently also how to put out a shallow one. So I have a very kind of meh response to Alita Battle Angel. It's visually stunning and a little flat. Okay, let's go to something I really, really liked. Fighting with My Family. This is charming and funny, subverting sports biopic cliches and actually developing real drama and genuine uplift. Fighting with My Family is based on the true story of an English working class girl who becomes the WWE championship wrestler Paige. And it's the unlikely creation of British writer, director, and actor Stephen Merchant, he of The Office and Extras and other team-ups with Ricky Gervais. Here he does it all himself, including taking a small but very funny role. And without proper casting, it might have faltered, but it is spot on, with special praise due to the rising UK leading lady Florence Pugh as the girl who becomes Paige right before our eyes. Pugh was the seemingly genteel French royal who hooks up with Chris Pine's Robert the Bruce in the historical drama Outlaw King. She was the title character in The Little Drummer Girl, which is a Jean Le Carré espionage thing. you don't expect her to be this rough and tumble goth kid from the council flats in Fighting with My Family. Along with her brother, she wants to chase her dream of wrestling stardom, regardless of what the a-hole trainer played by Vince Vaughn puts in her way. Right? Vaughn is in it, as is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing himself. And more significantly, Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead and other comedies plays Paige's dad. And Lena Headey, best known maybe as Game of Thrones Queen Cersei, is Paige's mom, and they're all wrestlers in this family-run wrestling show and gym, and they want one of the kids to break out. This is a hilarious and loving family. I really thought Fighting with My Family was one of those sleeper treats that comes along in the wintertime and maybe catches a bit of a buzz and catches fire and people start seeing it. All right, let's wrap things up with Birds of Passage. If you like Narcos or Queen of the South, let me recommend Birds of Passage, a truly absorbing look at how the Wayuu indigenous people of Colombia got wrapped up in the drug trade during the 1970s. And there was bloody tragedy that resulted from the ambitions of a few of the tribal figures who also tried to stay true to their culture while teaming with and then battling with their Hispanic partners in the drug business for control of this growing, increasingly lucrative empire. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than Loving Pablo, the recent Escobar docudrama with Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem. You won't know the actors, particularly co-directed by Cristina Gallego and Chiro Guerra. I really was caught up in Birds of Passage. I thought it was very, very well done. And I really didn't know about, the tribal involvement in the drug trade. So there was kind of a revelation. And finally, Reuben Brandt Collector. It doesn't look like any animated cartoon feature that's out there this day, not Disney, Pixar, or Blue Sky or DreamWorks or Japanese stuff. It's written and directed by Slovenia-born Milorad Krastic, and it has a decidedly Eastern European look and a film noir vibe, but mashes up so much cool modern stuff with surrealistic design. It doesn't even look like those old murky Iron Curtain cartoons of the Cold War era. As far as the plot goes, Reuben Brandt is a renowned but troubled psychotherapist who's been plagued by emotional problems and weird dreams since his youth due to nefarious forces. In order to cure himself, he has to team up with a quartet of patients to steal 13 works of art from some of the world's great museums and most esteemed art collectors. And as a result, he becomes a wanted man, and he's got the ever-increasing price on his head and bounty hunters and cops after him. With the art at the heart of the movie, the visuals draw on all manner of classic and abstract styles and pay homage to the masters, and it's very, very witty and reflects and enhances the narrative. It may not be for everyone, but I thought Reuben Brandt Collector was cool. How about yourself, buddy? What are you watching?
Nothing at all. So tell them where they can find you, Michael. Wait a minute.
Culture Master, and on Facebook at Michael's Culture page. Right here on GABNet.
We didn't get that too well because you're like fading in and out on us. So, Anyway, we'll be back next week with more of this kind of stuff. But meanwhile, there's more of this kind of stuff if you're listening to us 24/7 on GABNet.